What's going on, trading card game players? Figs here with Figs Forum, bringing you guys the local formula series number 3. So I wanted to go ahead and showcase for you guys the changes that I've made for Phantom Knights since the last rendition that I posted. My last formula entailed us basically abusing some of the sprite cards, mostly the level 2s. I mean, we still have level 2s in this deck as well, but we're not playing the sprite cards. I did like that. It was nice, but unfortunately with that many cards and the deck not being level 2 heavy, it can be very bricky. So I wanted to kind of avoid that, but I still wanted to go ahead and give us some options for being able to stop our opponent from playing the game. And as I said in the last video, it did include Ibly. Not sure if anybody was able to figure out how we're doing it, but we are able to pretty much, pull out Ibly, and then we're also able to, be very degenerate and make sure that our opponent can't get rid of it. So we'll go ahead and showcase for you guys the deck here. It is very similar to the last one. It does play all the same engines, of course, because we're ideally just trying to play as many of the one card engines as we have access to, because that's what makes this deck very strong. It's what makes it very fun. And of course, right now, our opponent not playing the game is pretty fun because every deck pretty much ideally, kind of does the same thing. So let's go ahead and get into it. We'll start with, going through the deck profile, and then I'll go ahead and showcase for you guys the quick combo. Very similar to the last one, but again, slight change in how we end the board. And then there are some additional options that we do have in the extra deck that pretty much allow us to, further control our opponent's ability to play the game. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start with the Phantom Knight cards. We got ourselves 3 Torn Scale, 3 Boots, 2 Cloak, 1 Gloves, and 1 Stained Greaves. Still the same. Stained Greaves is very important for our combo, so of course we are still playing that. Then we've got 2 Fog Blade, 1 Brigadine, Foolish, and Rhoda. So we have our obviously our support cards for our Phantom Knights. These pretty much only mainly work for the Phantom Knights, but we do have a Kagamusha Knight to search off the Rhoda as well. Foolish, of course, is just to see a name in the grave because it's always very important for extension. And then only 2 Fog Blade and 1 Shade Brigadine. Then we've got ourselves 3 Emergency Teleport, 1 Zayamin, 1 Foxy, 1 Deer Note, and then the other Honorary Psychics are 2 Wielder, 1 Tracker. So we're still playing the 1/1/1. I think this is very important, but it can change a little bit. We could possibly play 2 Zayamin, 1 Deer Note, and 1 Foxy, Deer Note Foxy, just because of the Droll. I know Droll's running around in the format, so a lot of times if we E-Tele into Zayamin and search, it feels really bad getting Deer Note because of the fact that we're going to go into Punk Drive and he's just not going to be able to search us anything, the Jam Drive. So if we do play 2 Zayamin, we'll actually be able to go E-Tele into Zayamin search for Foxy. If we get Drolled, then we just summon another Zayamin to go straight into Cherubini. It will be very difficult for you to fulfill the combo at that point because you're not going to be able to search for your Stained Greaves. But there are ways to basically mitigate that being an issue. If you do open up a Phantom Knight, that you can actually just send Stained Greaves and banish him from the grave to summon the Phantom Knight from hand and make it a level 4. So there are ways to play around it, but I think this is a good ratio. I would consider bumping this up to 2 just to play around Droll. The deck naturally already does play around Droll as long as you don't go through this combo. This is really the only combo where you actually search, and after you get Drolled, it's difficult to play the game unless you open up a Phantom Knight. Otherwise, everything else in the combo, including Tour Guide and any other 2 level 2s, depending on how you're interrupted, and if you do get Drolled, you usually can do full combo, but that's the only line that makes it a little bit difficult. Then we can go ahead and go into our Tour Guide line. So we've got our 3 Tour Guide, 1 Graph, 1 Sir, and our 2 Kagamusha Knights. Still, again, part of our one card combo, so we are still playing it. 2 of our bricks. Good thing is, in this build, it is very glass cannon, but we do have less bricks, so we do see better hands, which is really nice. Going second, we still have some strong points, but going first, our combo is very linear, and unfortunately, it is very glass cannon, so you do want to be very careful on how you are, operating the deck. That's the reason why we have as much protection as we do have, and we try to make it as consistent as possible. So still the 3/2/2. Nothing changes on that. I think Kagamusha Knight is a great extender. He's also dark, so it helps a lot. Then we're still playing the Cyberstein for the Neterio, and then we're playing Ibly. We are going to be chucking this girl over to our opponent's side of the field, so it is nice to obviously be able to have this combo and then lock it down from there. But they are bricks, so unfortunately we don't want to see those. Then we've got our hand traps. We've got 2 Nibiru, 2 Ghost Ogre, 2 Ash, and 2 Droll. So we wanted to make sure that we had at least reliant hand traps for the format. I think these were the best ones. I was doing Imperm in the previous build, but unfortunately it does conflict with Shade, and it's not that great of a hand trap at the moment. I'd rather have these. These are better options because Ash can actually stop Gamma if you really need to. If you're at a point where you need to resolve the effect and nothing else after that matters, you can always Ash Gamma, which is very important. Ogre is very good against most of the decks in the format right now. Droll is obviously a floodgate. And then Nibiru, you know, can slow your opponent down. And I think that's important. Nibiru doesn't always stop your opponent from playing the game or end their turns, unfortunately, in this format, but it can do a lot in terms of being able to deal with your opponent. Also, it is a crossout target. That's how we have some of our protection. So against us, Nib is actually very strong because we're not playing Appaloosa. So then we've got the 1 call by and the 3 crossout. So that's what puts us to 45. You could play the deck at 41 if you really wanted to, but I think these cards are actually very important. They do protect you and be able to allow you to go full combo. And then once you're able to go full combo, most of the time your opponent's going to scoop or they're going to try to play through it as much as possible. But these basically just say you're not able to play the game or you're not able to stop me from stopping you from playing the game. So I definitely think these are important cards because of how glass cannon the deck is. These are really good to have. You know, you want to make sure that you can resolve your combos or as much as possible. So that's it for the main board. Like I said, it is only 45, much better than the 50 in the last build, much more consistent. As I said, there's only like 4 bricks. The other ones could be the punk cards, but depending on which punk card you open, depends on whether or not it's a brick. So let's go ahead and get into the extra deck. We've got ourselves an IP Masquerena, Beat Cop, Cherubini, and Sprint. So we are playing the Beat Cop. We are able to actually give our opponent Ibly and make Beat Cop and have its effect live to put a counter on it so it can't be destroyed. So yeah, that's definitely very nice. IP is actually very huge in this deck as well because it is allowing us to be able to ideally end our board a little bit differently to stop our opponent from playing the game. Then we've got ourselves Cherubini, the you know, the overall best card in the deck with our level 3s, and then of course we have Sprint, who's able to get us all started. Then we've got our Bardiche, Unicorn, Griffin, and Access Code. So we are playing 2 different Nightmare monsters. Our Bardiche obviously is another card that's super important. Unicorn and Griffin are both able to be summoned off of the IP Masquerena at the end turn. Depending on how far you extend, you do have the ability to make IP and then go into both of these during your opponent's turn. And then of course we have our Access Code for the going second, which I think is actually very important. Gigantic Sprint for being able to, you know, summon out our level 2s. The Break Sword, the Dugaris, and the Zeus. So last video I didn't have the number 60. I think I kept calling them actually number 90. Completely wrong, but you know, we have all the cards here. And then of course, you know, the way that we're playing the deck, we want to obviously push out the level 2s and revive them with Dugaris. So that's how we're pretty much getting back our Cyberstein. And then of course, Gigantic Sprite is going to actually bring us out our Ibly. But again, another going second card, we want to have access to Zeus. We don't want to be, you know, focused so much on going first. We do want to have options for going second. And again, PK is able to pretty much break a board and build a board, which is very nice. Then we have our Punk Jam Dragon Drive and then our Naturia Exterio. So this is what we're looking to end on. This is what we're using to get us there. This is very nice, very good way to combo out the deck. As I said, E-Telly and these builds are very, very strong because they are the 1.5 card starters that just give you everything you need. You don't need additional bodies to be able to do most of the things that you want to do. You know, and they don't commit to your normal summon, which is really nice. And then Exterio is just what we're looking to punish our opponent with and stop them from playing the game. So yeah, that's it for the main deck and extra deck. Let's go ahead and get into a quick combo. I'll show you guys how we get our end board and explain to you the options that we do have. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the combo here. So we wanted to start off with 3 random cards. This is going to be just a normal summon that we're going to commit to, just to show you guys the full options that you do have if you have, you know, the E-Telly or the extra extension, where you're able to pretty much do a little bit more at the end of the board. So, but we're going to use this as a discard, and this is the normal summon. So we're going to go ahead and activate Emergency Teleport. We're going to get ourselves Xiamen. Xiamen is going to search for Foxy. Then we're going to go ahead and activate Foxy, pitching the 1 card out of our hand to get ourselves the Deer Note. We're going to go ahead and synchro these 2 for Jam Dragon Drive. We're going to do our Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2 targeting, Chain Link 3 for boost to chain block. We're going to go ahead and get this out of the grave. We're going to search this to hand. Then we're going to go ahead and special summon. Then we're going to link these 2 away since we got our 2 level 3s for our Cherubini. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to activate Cherubini's ability, sending Graph, getting us a Sir. Then we're going to go ahead and actually link these 2 away, of course, to get our Bardiche. Sir is going to trigger to bring back Cherubini. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to link these 2 away, get us into Sprint. Sprint's ability is going to go ahead and send us to the grave Cyberstein. Then we're going to go ahead and use Bardiche's effect. We're going to send to set. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to banish to add. Then we're going to go ahead and activate effect, make him a level 4. Overlay these 2 for Dugaris. Dagaris effect is going to go ahead and target our Cyberstein. Cyberstein is going to go ahead and activate his ability to get Exterio. So I would definitely recommend putting Exterio in the middle because of the fact that we're playing Griffin. We want to make sure that everything aligns and we're able to get our abilities as needed. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to overlay these two for our Gigantic Sprite. Gigantic Sprites effect, we're going to go ahead and use that to get out our Ibly. So we'll detach to get Ibly. Then we're going to go ahead and link these two away for Beat Cop. Then we're going to go ahead and give our opponent the Ibly. And then we have the ability here at this point to do two things. So without any additional extension or committing to a normal summon, you'd have 3 other cards in hand. You can either use Beat Cop's effect to tribute this to put a counter on that and then pass, because they're not going to be able to crash. They're not going to be able to use spells and traps. So you lock them out completely from being able to special summon. And you also lock them out from being able to crash. But the only problem is you don't have an option for them to stop for a normal summon. And committing to a special summon that way for a link. So what you could do is you could normal summon instead of using his effect to pop. You could normal summon, and then we could go ahead and make IP Masquerena. So that'll allow you to be able to either use his effect to tribute the Bardiche to put a counter on it so they can't swing, and then if they do commit to a normal summon, you can actually use IP to make Unicorn. Somewhere around here, Unicorn, and then you can bounce their normal summon away. Or what you could do is you could actually just make Griffin. So you definitely have 2 options. I generally like to just pass with these on board, just because it gives you more options. So if you want to let them have the option to crash, sure, that's completely fine. They've wasted their battle phase and they still can't use spells and traps. And then if they try to start playing, you just use these 2 to make Griffin. And then if you have something engraved, you can set it. So if you want to set the E-Telly for an additional body, if you discarded, anything else in the grave, you're able to just pretty much pick it up and put it on the field, cross out, trap, anything that you may have discarded. But, ideally you're stopping special summon effects, then you're also stopping your opponent from using spell or trap. So that's the way that we're pretty much playing the deck. It's very good in being able to stop your opponent from playing the game, which is how we're pretty much trying to do at this point. But, there are options. And I think the most important thing is that this build is actually a lot less bricky. There's a lot less cards that you have to worry about. A lot of your actually hand traps are level 3s, like the Ghost Ogre and the Ashes. So it is nice to have additional level 3s in the deck that aren't necessarily bricks, because if you see an extender, they allow you to basically play the game. But yeah, that's what I have here for you. This is my local formula number 3 take for this week. It's definitely been a very fun deck to play. I have a blast playing it, of course, because you're pretty much stopping your opponent from playing the game. But it is the Phantom Knight Spice. I'm definitely looking forward to other sets. I know that there are some synchro variants that are coming out with new cards coming up in the upcoming sets, so I am getting ready for that. So hopefully we'll have some more synchro fun. I'm definitely done with the Makanko stuff. That was very bricky. It was fun though. There was definitely some really cool lines, but that was the unfortunate thing for me, is that I didn't like the fact that there were so many bricks in the deck when you're playing the Renaud and things like that. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I had more options for being able to, play the game without obviously being in a situation where you can't, because you're drawing cards that just belong in the deck for certain combos. But yeah, this definitely was very fun. I did like the Sprite one as well. That was actually very fun too. Having the option of being able to go into Dejin and having a searchable spell trap interruption with either Smashers or the trap card. So it is definitely definitely good to have options, and definitely nice options for toolboxes. But I definitely think that this is the most consistent, and hopefully soon we'll have some more options. But as always, definitely feel free to jump in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys would transform the deck into. If you have any takes or any suggestions or any options, definitely throw them down, and hopefully we can continue to transform these decks and put Phantom Knight to the test. So definitely don't forget to like and subscribe. Continue to show your support. Appreciate you guys. Just hit over 400 subscribers, which is nice. I definitely have a lot of views on some of my videos and would hope to get more subscribers and more people tuned in. So I do have some competitive content that I'm going to continue to post that's not Phantom Knight related, but I definitely won't put Phantom Knight away or put it down. I'll definitely keep playing it. So, those who enjoy it, definitely stay tuned, and then hopefully you guys can also stay tuned to my competitive content. And, when the format continues to shape up and we do have options to make this deck as well competitive, then I'll certainly be, taking it to some tournaments when I can. So, yeah, appreciate you guys. And again, continue to support, hit that like button, and definitely subscribe.